Hey everyone. One of the cool things that you're going to be able to see this year for Christmas isn't going to be Santa and his sleigh. It's actually going to be what they're calling the Great Conjunction. Now, the Great Conjunction is actually going to happen on December the 21st. That's Monday, if you're watching this video before Monday. And what a conjunction is, it's when two celestial bodies kind of get close together so that when you're viewing them from Earth, they look like they're kind of aligning. Now, to make it a great conjunction, it's actually the two biggest planets we have in our solar system. So that's Jupiter and it's Saturn. Now, this is actually the closest that they will look together to us in about 800 years. Now, the orbits of Jupiter and Saturn, the way that they rotate around, means that from where we are on the Earth, they look like they're getting closer and closer about every 20 years. All right, now just because they look lined up and they look really close to us, they're not really close at all. They're still about 430 million miles apart. Just to us, they look like they're right next to each other. And that's actually pretty cool because Saturn and Jupiter, you can actually see with the naked eye without a telescope, without binoculars, and you can see them in a normal night sky. And now what'll happen is when they get closer and closer and closer and closer, it's actually going to make them look a little bit brighter. And so in the sky, you're actually going to have Mars you can always see really easy. Jupiter you can usually see really easy. Saturn, a little less easy. It's a little bit smaller of a planet and it's further away than Jupiter, but you can still see it. Now there's actually another object in space that's actually going to be kind of playing along as well. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see it from the ground, and that's actually Pluto. Believe it or not, Pluto is going to be just south and just a little bit to the east if you're coming looking from the United States. Now, the last time we had a great conjunction was actually in 2000, about 20 years. Like I said, every 20 years, roughly, you get a conjunction. They were actually still pretty far apart. They were 68.9 arcs apart from where you are on the ground. So an arc is a way of measuring the radius of how far away something is. Now, 68.9, that's roughly twice the width of the moon. So at its closest 20 years ago, Saturn and Jupiter got about twice the distance from each other visually from the moon. Now, what's great about this one is it's actually going to be 6.1 arcs, or if you held out a dime, it would be about an arm length away, and it would be about that width of that dime. Now, for those of you with a telescope, they're going to be so close together that you'll actually be able to see the rings of Saturn interacting visually with the moons of Jupiter, the Galileo moons. So if you want to take a look at the last time that this conjunction happened where people could see it, you have to go all the way back to 1226, so about 800 years ago. To put that in perspective, Genghis Khan was still around in 1226. Now, you'll actually be able to see the Great Conjunction with your own eyes, but I do recommend if you can find somebody who has binoculars, or if you can find somebody who has a telescope, you're really good at a good view of this. You should be able to even see it even if you have light pollution in your neighborhood. I know that when I go outside, I live in a suburb that has lots of light pollution. We live near a city. And I can always easily pick up Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. It's actually been fun to watch over the last month or so, watching Jupiter and Saturn getting closer and closer and closer together. Now, also, if you're a younger person, this isn't going to be the last time you're going to get a chance to see a great conjunction, most likely. There's going to be another great conjunction where it's going to be 6.0 arc, so almost exactly the distance it is now. But that's going to happen in about 60 years. So just a little glimpse into the future. So the other nice thing too is if it's cloudy on the 21st, don't worry about it. It's not like a one night thing. It's something that's been slowly happening over time, and they're going to slowly pull apart. So if you have clear skies tonight, if you have clear skies, a couple of days after the Great Conjunction, you're still going to see them pretty close together. It has actually been fun when I go out at night and it's a clear sky. I can see them getting closer and closer and closer. Now, in just a second, I'm going to show you how to find in the sky where it's going to be where you live. Now, the other cool thing that's happening about this is it's happening on the winter solstice, being December 21st. And that is completely random. It has nothing to do with the winter solstice. But what's kind of neat about that is it's giving it a nickname. People are calling it the Christmas star. Now, one way you can tell it's not a star is a star will shimmer. Planets don't shimmer. So if you're looking at the sky and you want to know, hey, listen, is that a star or that's a planet? Again, planets don't shimmer, stars will shimmer. Let's be honest, I'm not really superstitious. I don't believe in astrology or any of that stuff, but I'm going to let my guard down a little bit. 2020 has been pretty tough on all of us here. So if we can get a little bit of hope and make this some kind of a good omen going into 2021, I say let's all be on board. All right, now with that, let me take you over to the screen and I'm going to show you how to find this where you live. All right, so what we have here is a website that's really good and useful for being able to determine where things are in the sky. And it's actually called in-the-sky.org. I'll throw a link to this down below. What this can do is you can put your location and you tell it when, and it'll tell you what your sky looks like. So for instance, 11:58, that's the time I'm making this video on the 18th. And if it wasn't light outside and if I could see the stars, this is what I would see. I would actually see Saturn, and look at this other dot right there. That's actually Jupiter. If I zoomed in on that, I would see that would be Jupiter. And again, like I said before, you would see Pluto is actually starting to play along. And then over here, we have Mercury and Venus. So right now, we have a lot of the planets really lined up in the night sky for us. Unfortunately, it's the middle of the day, so we can't see these right now. If you were someplace where it was dark, you'd be able to see these. All right, so how can you see where to look on the 21st on your time? So what you do is you come over here, you just click on change location. Okay, I'm going to make this full screen. You can click on use location reported by my web browser, or you can actually just say set location. So I'm here in Greenville, South Carolina, and it actually pulled it up, so I can click on that. All right, and it looks the same because I had already set it. But now let's go ahead and change the time. All right, now the way that we're going to change the time is you'll see this box here. It says show sidebar. So we're going to click on show sidebar. Now here we're going to set the date and the time. So we're going to go to the 21st of December and we're going to say the time. We're going to say, now I know for a fact it's going to start getting dark about 5:30. And it's not really going to be dark outside until it's 6:30. Now they show military time. So 5:30 is 17:30. So let's go 17 and let's go 30. Okay. All right. I'm going to hide the bar just to make it clear. And what we're going to see now, if I zoom out, we are going to see Saturn right there. Again, we have Saturn and we have Pluto. All right. Notice you don't see Jupiter. So we have to start zooming in. All right. Matter of fact, I even clicked on Saturn and it showed up Jupiter. So if we keep zooming in, look at this. Look at how close they are together. I'm zooming in. They're still on top of each other. This is, I mean, I love the fact we can do this stuff on the internet. And people wrote tools. So I am zoomed all the way in and the application still isn't showing it. But if I click on this, I can see Saturn. And if I click on this, I'll see Jupiter. And here we can see that it's 5:30 on the 21st. Now, here's the important part. Okay, so I zoomed back out, and so here's the important part. Again, this here is Jupiter and Saturn. Here is the Earth blocking your view. So Jupiter and Saturn are just coming up. And so when it starts to get dark out, you really kind of need to see them relatively quick. Because if we change the time to 6:30, we're going to see that, again, this top left one, that's Jupiter and Saturn. The bottom right one is Pluto. But we can see that they're going to be going towards the ground. They're going to slide, the Earth is rotating. Now, it's going to be important to actually see these outside relatively quickly, even though it's not really dark out yet, because we can already see that Jupiter and Saturn are already getting fairly close to the horizon. And if we click on show sidebar, we can actually just jump ahead an hour to 6:30. And we'll see that this right here, my mouse is on. We'll see that it's actually getting a lot closer to the horizon. Now, if you have trees or other houses, they may actually already be jumping behind the trees. And if we move this ahead to, let's say 7:30, that's really right when it's going to hit the horizon. So that's what it looks like for me here in Greenville, South Carolina. The best place to look for this actually would be if you lived on the equator, but if you're here in the United States, you're not really on the equator. One thing I do want to take a look at now, for those of you that are up in the northern part of the country, let's go ahead and take a look at Chicago, Illinois. Okay. And we'll show our sidebar, and we're going to go to the 21st again. And we're going to go to Chicago. Should be sundown should be around 6:30. So let's say 17, so for 5:30 for CST already. All right, so let's say 5:30. Okay, let's hide this. And you can see that, again, it's already starting pretty low, even at 5:30. So you're distance-wise, you're looking at southwest. And then if you look at 1 hour later at 6:30 Central Time, you can see again, it's kind of ducking under. So definitely try to get out there and see it when you can. Now, you don't have to watch this. Let's say you have clouds on the night of the 21st. This isn't a one-night thing. You can watch this a couple nights before, a couple nights after. However, the one thing that's really important to understand is as we get days after it, the way that we are going around the sun, Saturn and Pluto are actually ducking more and more under the horizon by the time it gets dark out for us. They're out more during the daytime. So you're going to get to around Christmas, and you're not really going to be able to see Saturn or Jupiter until they come back around on the east side. All right, well, that's it. So hopefully now you know a little bit about the Great Conjunction, why it's the Great Conjunction and not just a regular conjunction. And hopefully you now know how to go take a look of where you're going to be. Again, you really want to look at the southwest, southwest, and that's going to be your angle that you're going to see it. All right, now one thing I would be really interested in is down in the comments section below, put down what state you're living in. And then when you get a chance to see the Great Conjunction, what did you think? How did it look to you? All right, with that, we are all set. If you're watching this before Christmas, happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas. If you're watching this after, I hope that we'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye. Hey, I hope you've enjoyed that video. If you did, please do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content. Up here on the left-hand side, you're going to see another video from our this playlist. And if you click down here, you're going to see another video on our channel. Hope you guys all have a great day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.